Agree with Alan Greenspan, we ought to just eliminate the debt ceiling. Oh, absolutely, we do.
The ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising.
That's not a tenable strategy. Isn't now the time to eliminate it? Oh, we've been a long time ago.
Let's put aside terrorism. Let's talk only about our own homegrown animals that are patrolling America right now. So it goes down to the simplest thing. Be prepared, be vigilant.
Have you ever recorded 8 minutes of a podcast and just been like, that was total garbage, trash, throwaway material, and then you deleted it and started over? That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right now. Came off of 8 minutes of stuff that I don't think any of you would have cared about, and arrived back at the beginning, back at sort of a new intro, a new monologue, and a new topic altogether. And this topic is, for those of you who are interested, it's about the next evolution of the I Am Liberty show. I want to talk about that in this podcast, and that might be the focal point of this podcast altogether, to be honest with you. Because I don't feel like talking about politics at all. I don't feel like talking about end of the world guesswork. I did read an article this week or last week, I guess now by this point, that mentioned that from August 2017 to the end of the year is going to be one of the most trying times for the people of America. And it brought up a lot of things. It brought up a lot of reasons that we could see it get real bad. You know, it brought up the issues with the Trump presidency, some intergalactic things, not like Star Wars, but like, you know, the sun, cosmic stuff I didn't read too deep into. And it just brought up a lot of things. The economy, of course, was kind of front and center of it all. Silver is still so low. Why is that happening? We're sitting at $16 silver, and it's just, I have to keep buying. Do you buy precious metals? We need to do a good in-depth precious metals show soon, don't we? 16 dropping. See, once it gets to 15, it's almost like you have to buy swaths of the stuff. I thought forever it was going to sit in the 20s. I really did. I thought the 20s was where it was going to be. I don't worry so much about it. What I'm thinking, though, lately is the next step for I Am Liberty. In 2013, we took a huge step. We decided, I say we like there's anybody else involved but me. It was me and Baxter. When I say we, I mean me and my 11-year-old pit bull Baxter. We were sitting around discussing the future of the show and how it should go. And what we decided in 2013 is that we needed solutions. That we no longer wanted to spend an hour, up to an hour, every week talking about the troubles of the day and how bad things are, how bad it is, how terrible it is. And I didn't want to get wrapped up in the same sort of stint as most conservative talk radio, regular talk radio hosts who just write books about the problems and then put political solutions in there because they don't work. Some of the great minds, right? The Rush Limbaughs, Michael Savage, Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin. These guys are brilliant, certifiably brilliant people. Made millions because of their brilliance. They've all written books about how bad the nation is. They've all written books about how to fix it, and they have achieved nothing at all. So in 2013, I decided it's about the community, right? Take the symbiotic suit of the prepper off a little bit, pull it away, pry it away from me like Spider-Man, and allow myself to get just as involved in making some things happen at the community level and understanding what type of effects that can have. And now, 3-4 years later, we have a book set to arrive in October. I guess I could just set a date if I want. I probably should, right? It looks like I'm going to be the publisher of that book, too, by the way. I can't give up people want to change names. They want to release dates that are not going to work with my schedule. It's hard. It's too hard, and I'm not willing to give up anything. I wrote the book proposal. It's great. I think it's a great marketing plan, and I'll just follow it myself. I don't need any help. You know, I really don't need any help. Particularly with this title, I'm going to be able to reach more people than I've ever reached before, because it's not exclusively prepper subject matter. And like I was talking to my wife the other day, it's always better when you build it yourself. It really is. We were talking about how we paid for our own wedding. You know, every penny. Every penny was us, right? We started paying on a honeymoon trip to Jamaica like a year and a half out of the wedding, making payments. I remember getting paid, getting home, getting in the car, driving down to the mall, going to the travel agency, if you can imagine it, stepping into the travel agency and making payments, you know, with cash or check at the time. We'd walk in there, we'd give them $100. We'd walk in there, we'd give them $200, whatever it was. We paid almost $2,000 for the location, paid. And you know what? When I think about writing books and success that I've had in life, it's always better when you build it yourself. And I'm too much of a freedom-loving person to deal with someone telling me they want to change the title, they want to change the date, they want to change this paragraph, this chapter should be omitted. I can't do it. So I think the best that I'll do is probably pay an editor to look it over after I do my own editing, and then that's it. It will be ready, and we will attack it. Okay, there'll be plenty of interviews lined up, and that'll be that, man. But that was the evolution in 2013. Now, the evolution in 2017 through 18 is going to be very different. It's going to be one of interaction. That is going to be one of interaction and growth into new media outlets. I've been playing around putting some videos up on my YouTube channel. I Am Liberty Show is the YouTube channel. Go there, sign up, or subscribe, whatever. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Here's the funny thing about subscribing on YouTube. It costs you nothing to subscribe. But if every one of you subscribe, I get money, and I live better. Isn't that great? It costs you nothing. Go in there, subscribe, like a video, boom. There's going to be a great number of categories in the YouTube videos, because I have a lot to say and I have a lot to show you. One of the big ones is wild edibles, because I have a good idea, or a good repertoire now of wild edibles in my area. When to get them, how to eat them, yada, yada, yada. I just did a video I just put up on the pawpaw tree, which is by far my favorite wild edible of all. But we're coming into the harvest season, right? We're going to have walnuts. We're going to have hazelnuts that are going to be ready soon. All this stuff in my backyard that I can get up close to, show you clips of. I've got one for garlic mustard in the spring that was out. I've got one up there for the May apple in spring as well. I'd like to do a lot of these wild edible videos. I'd also like to do a lot of these community videos. Videos that bounce off topics that are in the new book that's coming out. And as I get deeper into this tactical stuff, man, I think I'm going to start doing some EDC reviews, some EDC stuff, probably some reviews of tactical equipment as well. I would like to have a little hub on YouTube that is everything that we talk about. You know, maybe even literature. Wah, wah, wah. Maybe even some Dostoevsky up there. No, nobody wants to hear it, Jim. Jim, don't read your poems on YouTube. Nobody wants to hear them. It's still part of me. And I feel like I need to give you the whole picture, whether you like it or not. But I don't know. There's gonna be a growing YouTube channel with content. Okay, it's not gonna be amazing, incredible quality, but you're gonna get information out of it. And if things look good, then things will look good, and I'll make them look better with a better camera setup and all that. But I think the iPhone does a lot, or rather I got a Galaxy S7. I'm like a caveman now that the S8's out. How's that happen? The new cell phone comes out, everybody pukes on you as soon as you bring out your phone, and it's a number less. You don't have the S8 yet? You don't have the S8? Where's your S8? Dude, calm down. I'm a free upgrade guy. I have the most advanced and incredible technology as soon as I get an upgrade. And then 2 weeks later, the new phones come out, and I don't have anything. I have worthless, nothing. It's like a flip phone. The equivalent of... The other evolution in this interactive world, right? And also, when I say interaction, I want to be able to make videos that you want me to make. Because I cook. I'm a monster behind the stove. I did it for most of my professional life. And I also fish like a madman, right? So I'd love to do videos about that stuff too, if that's what you want to see. I'd almost like to do questions of the week or video requests of the month, something like that. If you want to see something that I can do probably better than most people in the fishing and the cooking world, or even in the prepping world, I could put it together, whatever it is. I'd love to have that as a section there too. Videos of a certain technique, of a certain plan, of a certain whatever it is. But along with that, right, it's not just about putting up YouTube videos. It's not something that I'm super psyched about, but I do like having another place to send you guys outside of the talking. We're going to do some giveaways. We're going to do some competitions. We're going to do some challenges every month. I think we have to do it every month, right? I think we're going to start in August. I thought to myself, let's do this planned out. Let's do this nice, take our time, do it with a very sound plan, start in 2018. And then the child in me said, I can't wait till 2018. I'm doing it in August. So we're probably going to do a very simple giveaway in August for probably Combat One products, but I'll clarify once we get to August. It'll probably just a social media sign up, or maybe it'll be a YouTube subscribe and like a video and get entered into a pot. I don't want them all to be like that because they're not fun. They're kind of boring and goofy. I don't want them all to be subscribe and like and click links and do these things, and I tell you what to do and you might get a chance at a prize type of thing. I'd much prefer some of the things that we've done in the past, where we've done survival challenges on video, right? We could throw those up. They can go on YouTube. That's great content. I'd love to do just straight up fitness challenges. We've done virtual races before. I'd like to do those again. I would certainly love to do some virtual racing again. Maybe not in August. I don't want to kill anybody. It gets a little nasty. But when the weather breaks, maybe September, October, we get back into the virtual racing, virtual bike racing type of thing. And I'd like to have it be very interactive. I want you, the listeners, involved. That's the beautiful thing about a podcast and owning a podcast and doing a podcast however you want, is that we don't have to be limited by anything. This show can be a completely interactive experience. And that's what I see for 2017 into 18. More interaction, more avenues of media. My website, I've been putting up one article at least every week now. So if you're not going to IamLibertyShow.com, check that out. A lot of great information up there. And that's just how I see it, folks. Everything is upgrading. Everything is always upgrading in my life. Oh, you know what else I want to do? Definitely. For all you writers out there, I really want to do writing contests. One of the contests that I want to do, we would do 4 of these a year or something like that, maybe more. I want to do like prepper fiction, short story. I want to do techniques, survival techniques, and stuff like that. Every month, 10 entrants, whatever it is. And then we pick a winner. The winner gets posted on IamLibertyShow.com. I'll talk about the winner on the podcast and send them a prize. And the prizes are going to range from whatever I can beg for. whatever I can beg some company to give me. And also books and merchandise. I've got t-shirts that I can send you, stuff like that. Obviously, all the books I've written in the past. I'd love to start sending people Seasons in the Valley, which is a cookbook that I have out that I wrote in my early 20s. It's a beautiful book. I mean, it really is. I probably should make it a book and not just a ebook, because I did all the photography in it myself, and God, that was a lot of fun. You want to talk about a fun book to write? The whole book was based on each season, right? And this is, before seasonality was really big. I'm talking 2005 or 6, 7 at the latest. Each season in the Brandywine Valley, buying local food, creating dishes, and then building whole sections of the book around certain vegetables, like asparagus in the spring. Okay, now you get 3 or 4 recipes on just this local asparagus. Same with strawberries, and in the winter, I even came out of pocket of like $100, $120 and got some black truffles from France, because I like those things. I like those types of things. And it's a beautiful book. I'm not trying to sell you a book. I think it's, $6 or whatever on Amazon. If you have a life outside of prepping and you actually like to eat good food and live a good life, which is one of the cornerstones of what I believe we should be doing, if you're planning for the apocalypse, you better be living the real life right now. Don't be living for the apocalypse. So in 2017, the remainder into 2018, expect more interaction out of the I Am Liberty show. And what I'm telling you is, we're still going to talk about all the things we talk about. I'm still going to get riled up over all the things I get riled up about. There's no getting around that. It's still going to be a talk show primarily, right? I Am Liberty, the I Am Liberty show, it's always going to be the nucleus, right? What runs around it is going to change from time to time, but it's always going to be. But there's a whole big bunch of things that I do in my life that we don't really talk about that much. Sometimes we talk about fitness, sometimes we talk about hunting, fishing, cooking. And at the end of the day, I've come to the realization that life, I was reading Ecclesiastes in the hotel, and how he talks about, a man's work is everything. And that's my favorite book in the Bible. It really is. I think it explains what this life is really all about. And I just have a great avenue to help people, change their lives in a positive way. And rather than gripe about what the deal is and why it's so terrible, how to prepare, put away food for the end of the world, we can also enhance our lives today in ways that will help if the end ever does come. So we'll come back with a little more on this show. Let's see how long this little diatribe was real quick. 16 minutes. Okay, yeah, we'll come back. We'll do another half of this show, and I'll talk to you soon. jwrights.com. Are you launching a survival blog? Do you have a preparedness product or service that you want to get to market? Use jwrights.com and we'll create unique content for you written by yours truly. This is my freelance website. You've come to know me. Trust me. Visit jwrights.com for your survival and preparedness freelance writing needs. I do infographics, white papers, ebooks. Visit jwrights.com. As if there were any more time in the day, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to do one more thing on this Monday. This Monday, some days, well, it's always good to level a day, let's put it that way. And by level, I don't mean make it even on all sides. I'm talking about destroy it. It's just good to destroy a day. And on a night like tonight, I know I'll sleep like a baby. I have no worries. Smash the work day. House repairs. Heavy bag workout. Just domination. Just sheer domination on the day. Wife took the kids for a couple hours, and whenever that happens, the chains come off, you know what I mean? You ignite. Some things get ignited that are hard to really deal with. But they do, man. They come flying. They come flying off, and this afternoon was no different. I feel really good. As of right now, I feel very good. But enough rambling. I want to talk to you about something that caught my attention the other day. Because it speaks to just the type of guy that I am. There are topics that I talk about, and there are political leanings that I have where you can sometimes say to yourself, boy, I know that James, he's a whatever. And then you can put me in a little box. You tell the world that James Walton, he does a show called I Am Liberty, and he's a conservative prepper. Is that true? I will proclaim, and I do proclaim to be a prepper for sure. But am I really conservative? I mean, do I fit in with... What is a conservative, first of all? The question of my time, right? When I think conservative, I think of Mark Levin, I think of Sean Hannity. Those guys are like the pinnacle of what it is to be a conservative in my mind. I think about that. And then I think of me, Dragon Ball Z t-shirt on, sitting in the kitchen, right? Let me just give you a tactical pen and a notebook. What do I have here? Cool Parks and Trails from the library. The Minecraft construction handbook that was kind of for my son. The Strength Switch, strength-based parenting, can help your child and your teen. I like reading parenting books. I do, even if they're garbage. It's a take. It's another take, you know? I look to my left. What do I have? I made this s'more granola. Let me tell you about the s'more granola real quick. It has nothing to do with Guerilla Grafters, but Guerilla Grafters, they are a little lost, but they have a good idea. There's no doubt about it, and I like it. I like this sort of rebellion in it. But let me first tell you about the s'more granola. So we were heading out to the beach this weekend, going down to Yorktown, where I'd love to go. Yes, the same Yorktown where Cornwallis was captured and the Revolutionary War was won. And there's something about sitting on the beach right there that just stokes the very liberties within. Really does. Makes me feel good. I mean, I'm in like walking distance from the cave. The Cornwallis cave. But anyway, before we left, I wanted to have some snacks for the ride. So I thought to myself, hey, what can I throw together fast? I always have oats from the food storage. You know, there's always plenty of oats around. I usually always have some good dark chocolate as well around. I thought to myself, you know what? Forget the peanut butter in your normal granola recipes. Oats. I tore up a bunch of marshmallows, right? Oats, marshmallows, dark chocolate pieces. Maple syrup. Coconut oil to coat. And I mixed all this together. The only thing it was missing was like walnuts. Walnuts would have took it to a whole nother level. But I tossed all this together into the oven, baked it until it was gooey and delicious. And that's what's sitting to my left, next to some Earl Grey tea. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you that we can go for a couple shows and I can be a pretty conservative guy. But the truth of the matter is I'm a guy. I'm just an American guy with varied interests just like you. You know? So I bring it up because when you look on to other people, don't look at them as though they are something. Don't look at them as though, oh, this is, I know what this is. This is a rare species of human. This species is called the liberal. This species is called the conservative. And what you'll notice when you're looking at a conservative is the fact, and then you go down the diatribe, right? The haircut, the this, the that, jeans, cowboy, whatever. All right, I'm done with that topic. That's boring. Guerilla Grafters. Let me preface this by saying these are people that I would get along with in person, but if I sent them an email and told them I was a prepper and they listened to 3 of my shows, they'd tell me I was a monster, right? They would tell me I was a Trump-supporting monster who should go to hell and my kids should be impaled while alive and that type of talk, right? You know, the nice accepting verse that comes from their mouths. But anyway, that's also a gross generalization. I have no idea. What the Guerilla Grafters are doing, which I really think is cool. For a long time, I've been saying we plant all these trees in the urban settings, right? All these damn trees. None of them produce any food. We have people who are hungry. At least in the ghettos and the areas where we have food insecurity, why don't we plant apple trees, peach trees? Come on. You know, cut a little off of food stamps and then put that into keeping these trees up, keeping these garden areas up. City could still do it. It could still come out of my pocket. The Guerilla Grafters this is right off their website. I got interrupted, I'm sorry. The Guerilla Grafters graft fruit-bearing branches onto non-fruit-bearing ornamental fruit trees. Over time, delicious, nutritious fruit is made available to urban residents through these grafts. We aim to prove that a culture of care can be cultivated from the ground up. We aim to turn city streets into food forests and unravel a civilization, one branch at a time. And you see them at work here. And it's cool. There's a little army of them in the front, a little picture. And they got watering cans and pruning shears and tape. And basically they're running around taping them things. You know, they're basically taking these branches. I apologize. My sister is coming to town, and she's texting me. she's on the way. And I'm so excited, man. I haven't seen her. It seems like forever. But anyhow, these guerrilla grafters, they're looking at these ornamental fruit trees. They're looking at these trees that grow all over cities and do nothing, right, except produce oxygen, which that's pretty cool. But they're not producing any food, right? And they understand something crucial that I'm writing about in my book, and that is the centralization of food production. They understand the centralization of food production and the effect that it has to pigeonhole human beings, to pigeonhole and to put people in a bad situation where they need food stamps, where they need this sort of help. So what these guerrilla grafters have done, and I make contact when I have them on the show. I know we're going to have a serious differing of opinion, but who cares anymore? Can't we get over it? Am I going to be defined for the next 4 years because of the guy I voted for? And by the way, is America falling apart? Is it falling apart? Tell me, is it falling apart? Are the gays in the jail cells? Are African Americans on slave blocks again? What? I'm going to give credit where credit's due, and I demand that people do the same. That's all. You know? Tell me that these people, that all these people who didn't vote for Trump, who are you going to vote for, Hillary? And what was she going to do? I don't want to go down the political path. I want to talk about these guerrilla grafters because I think it's a bunch of cool people with a cool idea. I think it's a cool way to shove an elbow into the side of the system, you know? And to say, look, we always talk about we the people and how do we have the power to make change, right? We don't have any power. We don't have any power to make change. We have the guns, but we're not using guns. It'd be silly to use guns, right? We're not. That's not where we're going. But at the same time, here's a little power. Here's a little, here's a little something that you can do that doesn't, what doesn't it do? It doesn't affect other people's lives, right? So it doesn't destroy other people's lives. We're not blocking traffic. We're not destroying people on their way to work and all that type of thing. No. What we're doing is essentially creating food where there wasn't food before. We're adding food to a location that didn't have food before. And I'll tell you what, if they have the balls to head into quote unquote urban areas, you can call them what you want, I call them ghettos. If they have the balls to hop into the ghettos and start grafting those trees in the ghettos with fruit, if it's possible, and giving them a food supply, these people who have nothing, right? They're living in what is a food desert. I hear conservative people all the time scoff at the idea of food deserts. It's a very real issue. If you don't go into these neighborhoods, if you don't live around these neighborhoods, if you don't study the subject, then yeah, you might think it's oh, here we go. Now with the food deserts, what's this word mean? It's a very real issue. We got to live see, this is one of those great dividing assumptions that I talk about in my book. I have about 4 or 5 of these great dividing assumptions. And one of those great dividing assumptions is that the type of food and the way we get that type of food defines us. Right? So, conservative, prepper, gardener, problem. Left wing, organic shopper, doing the right thing. And it's one of those weird things. But it's just a thing. It's just a category. It's just a box, right? It's just another check mark, another check box you can put people into so you feel comfortable about criticizing them rather than looking at yourself and getting better. That's the crux of the whole thing. But I like these guerrilla grafters. I like what they're doing. See, there are creative ways. Nothing wrong with guns. I think we all need guns. Whether you know it or not, more black women are buying guns than ever. I read a story on that today. But truth be told, we all need guns. It's just what we need. Because it is the greatest deterrent there is to the government. It's the greatest deterrent there is to terrorism. It is the greatest deterrent there is to an invading force. And that's it. And also, it's the greatest right given to man. Well, maybe not the greatest right, but it is the most powerful right given to man. Because never forget, it's nowhere near as hard to silence a voice as it is to silence a gun. The First Amendment's a big one, right? You're not allowed to shut me up, says the law. Well, I could shut you up anyway with a bat, a brick, my fists. A lot harder to shut up one of those guns when it's blaring, right? So that's the great equalizer in this world. And I like that the guerrilla grafters have figured out a way to buck the system without using guns. I like that. Nobody wants a revolution, right? Unless you're one of these guys who wears these shirts with the Vikings on it and you get the long beard and you think that, you have what you need to create and win an insurrection. And I'm a rogue American and I'm a infidel. See, why do I always got to go with the southern accent when I start bringing these guys up? Because there's just as many of them hiding in the Midwest and even in the far Northeast. But that's what I'm talking about. This is the type of thinking that I like. Now, it's probably all left-wing nuts like I talked about. They probably would hate me. But I can still like what they're doing. I love the idea. I love the idea of guerrilla grafting. Hands together for this idea of taking back the power of produce, right? Taking back the power of fruit in communities that want it and need it. Who knows if it works? We'll have to see. I might contact them, have one on the show. I'm not sure. That said, I've got a huge announcement for the tail end of the show. I'll try to get this show up tonight maybe. God, the week flew by so fast. I was busy writing like a madman. But Friday night, 9 Eastern Standard Time. You got a rerun on Wednesday. I apologize for that. I had some family in town. It is what it is, Sometimes when family's in town or when something special is happening, I'm not going to do the tightrope walk. I'm not going to add the second and third and fourth and fifth layer of stress that is preparing for and doing a show. I'm not going to do it. And my track record is such that it's a well-deserved day off and probably a necessary one. But Friday night on prepperbroadcasting.com, if you want something special, if you want to do something fun and have a good time 9 Eastern Standard on Friday night, then go to prepperbroadcasting.com, get in the chat room, because we're going to have essentially, it's not going to be a debate, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to have some high-level talent and me. We've got moderators. G-Man's going to do an intro to the show, and we're going to have 6 questions that will be posed to us, the prep experts or whatever we are. And the moderators of the show, the MCs, if you will be Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy. Right? How cool is that? Joe Walton, MD, will be there to moderate with his lovely wife. And it's going to be something, man. Kat Ellis, the herbal prepper. Michael Klein with his new show coming up. We've got Highlander who will be there. All the live hosts are going to be there on this panel. Yours truly will be there. It's going to be amazing. I read the 6 questions. You're going to love them. Some of them are scenario-based. Some of them are government-related. Some of them are, along the lines of you're in this situation, what items would you bring? What 3 items would you bring? What 5? Whatever. And we're going to have it's going to be an extended show. We're going to have it scheduled for an hour and a half. So we're doing a 90-minute show. And this is something that I think is going to be really fun and really special. So I know it's Friday. I know it's summer. You probably want to take the kids out for ice cream or whatever. You can call into this show. I think we're still going to have guest call-ins. The chat room is probably going to be enormous for this show because we have all the planets aligning. We have all of the hosts who are going to bring their following as well. You got to be there. 9 Eastern Standard Time, Prepper Broadcasting, Friday night. You'll probably get this show tonight, right? You'll probably get it Friday night or Friday in the morning or afternoon. So you got to listen to it. Prepper Broadcasting, Friday night, 9 Eastern Standard Time. Whatever it is, the 29th, I guess. No, 28th. The 28th of the month. If you want to get into the heads of some people who are serious about prepping, if you want to have two great MCs who are going to bring a whole another layer to this situation, you've got to get on board. You've got to come enjoy this show and see what we do when we're put under a little bit of pressure. All right? It's going to be very special. And I am very excited. I'm interested to see if carrying the show will be different than not carrying the show. You know, I rarely have guests, rarely. So it's often interesting, and it's actually sometimes challenging when I have a guest on. Now, putting me in a group of 6 others, I hope I'll have the focus to stay engaged, to be honest with you, because I'll need to, But I've got a lot of great people. There's gonna be some great people who are gonna be on the show, and I'm very interested to hear their opinions and the way that they answer things. You know, I'm always interested when you've been doing this thing the way I've been doing it. I can't say that I've been doing it for years. I can't say that I've been, traditionally trained as a survivalist, prepper, outdoorsman, whatever. As an outdoorsman, I have been pretty traditionally trained because it's just, went out in the outdoors a lot, fished, played out in the woods, that type of thing. But I don't come from this resume, this perfect resume background. And I think a lot of the hosts of Prepper Broadcasting can say the same. And what comes from people like us is that we often don't lean on old, tired structures when it comes to answering questions and, creating show topics and that type of thing. So when I'm doing a show, when I'm thinking about doing a show, just as many of my fellow hosts on prepperbroadcasting.com are, we're not looking through the SAS survival guide. You know what I mean? We're not reporting back to our memories of days past or whatever. A lot of times we're looking to get things and to poke things at a new angle. So if you're looking to see things from a different angle, I think this panel is going to be a great option. You know what I mean? You talk about what 3 things would you bring into a serious survival situation or something like that. And what we're all interested to hear is the comments that make a difference, the comments that are a little bit different but still relevant, We don't want to hear the crazy talk about people, bringing things that are so out of whack. I'm going to bring my 7-in-1 survival shovel, which folds into a compass and opens up into a telescope, and also solar oven, which then if you take off a few screws, it turns into a tent. And when you we don't want to hear those type of answers, but I think the listening audience is going to want to hear something new, something new, something different. I will tell you one question that's going to be on the list for sure, and it's one of the last questions of the night, and it is, if you could change one thing in the U.S. government right now, what would it be? I think for those of you who listen to my show on a regular basis and know how I feel about the president, not Donald Trump, not Barack Obama, but the idea of a president in general, I think you'll all know where I'm going with this question. But for those of you who don't, please come to the show and listen to that, because I have some very interesting ideas about how the government's run. And I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. You have Kat, the herbal prepper, coming from that standpoint. She might see certain laws and limitations that don't allow her to get all of the things that she wants to get to be effective. Wow, look at all that wood. God, somebody dropped a tree and the wood is just looking perfect. I'm gonna have to swing by there tomorrow. I'm on a ride down a road close to my home, and someone felled a tree and all the wood is cut up just beautifully, but there's a lot of little pieces of wood, the kind that only need to probably be split once, if that. I need some of that stuff. I need some of that good stuff. Now's the time. Now is the time, right? When you start thinking about, I don't know about you, but I start thinking about wood. in July and August. I start going out and knocking my wood and looking at it and seeing how much I have, what the conditions are. I don't burn that much, I use my heater. I'm not out in the hills somewhere burning a wood stove, but I've got a fireplace, and to me, the fireplace and fire in general is just as important to man as the heat it gives off. I believe that. It's an inextricably tied invention of ours, right? It's tied. I mean, we didn't invent fire, obviously, but we invented the ways to harness it, rather. Excuse me. We discovered the ways to harness fire and to turn it from something that probably terrified us, right, when we were monkeys in trees. Can you imagine anything more terrible than that? Your whole house is on fire. You don't even live on the ground. And we've turned it into one of the most incredible things, one of the most powerful things, one of the most romantic things. Is there anything more romantic than a fire on a winter night? Right? If you're curled up with the wife or the husband and the kids are in bed and the hot chocolate is in the mugs, or better yet, the brandy is in the glasses, is there anything more romantic than a nice warm cover or a sweater? Turn the TV off, put the fire up, get the flames going. I don't know if there's any better situation than that. So yeah, I'm a fan. I like to have enough wood to do what I need to do if the power does go out, but I also just like to burn. I'm a leisure burner. I like to just burn. I like to burn wood and look at it. I like to experiment with starting fires in that sort of controlled area. You can play with a lot of things in that controlled fireplace environment. You can teach your children a lot about fire there. I've had Carter use the magnesium ferro rod in the controlled environment. No wind, no pressure. It's a good place for that. So on that note, folks, I think we call it. On that, go to the website, IamLibertyShow.com. What I have started is an Amazon affiliate. If you see something on the newer articles that you like, go ahead and click it. You click it and you buy these things through me. I get paid money. Again, if you don't know, I am a business owner now, and I'm making my own way, the only ways that I know how. Okay, writing, books, affiliate links. Also go to YouTube and search I Am Liberty Show. I don't think that this is going to be a source of income for me because it's just a little bit too cloudy. But I am going to put up more videos. I think the videos can benefit the listener. I'm very interested in wild edible videos, and that's the type of things that I want to put up. But there'll be other things too. If I feel like you need to see it, I'll put it up. I'm going to be spending some time talking about the book and the contents of the book and the various principles within the book that'll be out in October. And it's very important to me that these concepts come to fruition in more ways than one, in more media outlets than one, right? I don't want it just to be in the book. I want it to be on social media. I want it to be on YouTube. I want there to be ideas and, a nice thick atmosphere available for anybody who reads the book and says, I really want to learn more about this. This was a good book. And the book is good. It is really good. Well, you know what's great about the book? Let me tell you. I don't want to sit here and blush over my own work. It's not even been edited yet, but it's not even finished, really. I got probably another 20K to put into it. But the thing about it is that it's the first book in a long time that I've written that is uniquely me. It's not fiction, not building characters. It's not nonfiction about things where I can't shine through. It's a nonfiction book, but it's a book. If you like me, if you like my show, you're going to love it. But also, if you don't even know who I am, you're going to love it. Because it's about unity at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the book, Community, is all about just that. It's about finding unity in this divided world through our communities and our neighbors. Because the headline of the day for me, out of all the things that happened, right? Democrats are quoted saying, I don't know which ones, I didn't read it, I just saw the headline, it blew me away. We're prepared for a culture war. Now, I don't know if you play poker or not. I don't. But I understand the importance of showing your hand or keeping your hand to yourself. And they just threw out any opportunity for bluff that was possible. Because they've taken the stance, in my opinion, whoever said this has taken the stance of the Antifa. We're ready for a culture war, baby. That's our answer. That's our brilliant answer. And that's the only answer you're going to get from politics. That might be the best answer you're going to get from politicians. It's our turn. All right, it's time to stop listening to the Limbaughs, stop listening to the Hannitys, stop listening to the people who whine about the condition of the government. The people you've been listening to for 10 years, and they haven't done anything to improve your life. What have they done to improve your life? Yeah, you get a laugh from them now and then. You get a good laugh. But they're driving a stake between you and your happiness. They're actually enslaving you by putting you on a team, by putting you on a side, by locking you down into an ideology and saying, these are the enemy, and we must face them. Rather than say exactly what I've been saying for the last 3 years, which is, this is your neighbor, and you must embrace him.